Today we're going to have a conversation on life as a student in college.
My name is Shelley, and welcome to my podcast, Love Unmasked.
I speak on the importance of love and self-awareness. I share guidance on how to rise above a pain and baggage that holds us back, and how to use our life story and our past experiences as a source of information for strength for today.
With us, I have two guests, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hi, thank you for having me, Shelley. My name is Daphne. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, but I did attend school in Alabama. I received my bachelor's in sociology at Talladega College, TC. It's the oldest and the first in the state college in Alabama, and I received my master's degree at Alabama A&M University.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Maurice Shingleton Jr., and I am a student at Full Sail University, and I was originally born in Fort Irwin, California, and moved to Huntsville, Alabama in 2008.
So it's important when we go off to college to have a strong why we're going. And so when I went off to college, I didn't have a strong why. So I kind of was showing up in class, but I wasn't present mentally because I was still searching for what I really wanted to do. So it's also important to have a strong why. So when things get a little challenging for you, then you have a source of something that you can look back on and encourage you or push you or motivate you to just get through whatever that phase that may be difficult. So I eventually dropped out of school, went back later once I discovered my strong why I wanted to be in college. So what motivated you? What was your motivation of what career you selected, and what keeps you going while you're in college with the, juggles of life and just new things coming at you that you didn't know?
Well, thank you for sharing, Shelley. You made some very valid points. School was always an escape for me. So, like I said before, I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. We have plenty of universities and colleges that I could have attended, but because of my upbringing, I had a rough junior and senior year in high school. So I really didn't qualify for schools like Spelman and things like that because of the qualifications, And so I was kind of discouraged. I wasn't the bottom tier performer in school, but I was at the top tier, top 10%. So what was my why was, education. Honestly, I love to learn. I didn't know, everything, but I love to learn. And I knew that, if I can be resilient and survive the things that I survived at home, I know for one thing, I can survive at school. So I just went for it, and I was discouraged a lot during my journey, especially in my bachelor's journey, but also in my master's journey, because that was a whole different level of professional development for me. In college, it was more personal development. I feel like I became, of who I was outside of my family and who I was expected to be. I was able to grow outside of that. So I feel like I did gain that when I went away for college, went away from home. And at first it was a scary experience to go away, but once I got there, I felt like a different world. You ever seen that?
Loved it.
Yes, that's what it felt like for me. So every time when there was an obstacle, I just thought of that goal, this is my time to break generational curses. I can do this. I was the first in my family. So just being that in my mind that I can be a first generation college graduate, was my why.
Okay. Did you have a why?
I did have one. So I originally actually went to Drake State in 2014, Drake Technical College, and I went there for culinary. And I didn't mention earlier that the reason I'm at Full Sail is for music business, Bachelor of Science. The why at first was an escape. to try to get away from what my family was pushing me to do, which was try to go into the military and different things, which I respect everything military, all military personnel, but it's not what I wanted to do with my life. So when I went to Drake, I went for culinary. I had thought that it was what I wanted to keep doing in my life, but in all honesty, it was not the way that I wanted to do things. So I left for a little bit, and I came back and started doing music business at Full Sail because I love music, I love managing, and I love business talks. I love being able to network. So the why now is because I want to continue to put myself in situations in the music world, music industry, and actually try to build up a new generation that's coming out. Not the boom baps, but actually getting the love back for where music taught. Didn't just teach people; it actually help people resonate with their lives, things like that. So
Absolutely. I commend you on moving forward in what you wanted to do, what your desire is, because too often our parents or they want us to follow in a certain footstep. Like they may have a certain title or something that they believe you should pursue, like doctor, lawyer is always the famous, what are you going to be? Oh, I'm going to be a doctor. Or, that's always the, something that they encourage. And when you go off the skid and into something like music, then that took a lot of courage because it's not a lot that they're supporting. Not many are supporting individuals that are going into music, which my son actually is in music, and I think he's doing an awesome job, and I support him 100. So I commend you on pursuing what was an interest for you and not just following what society says you should do. And I commend you for having that tenacious, being able to know I can do this. Was there any someone you give credit to that helped motivate you, that kept telling you you can do this, or was that all just the natural self that you were just determined?
Absolutely. I had someone not constantly telling me that I can do this, but the fact that my high school counselor believed in me because I didn't share a lot of what I was, the things that went on in my personal life at school and stuff. And she was the person that I went to, and she believed in me, and she said, you know what, you're an intelligent young woman, and I want you to apply for college. And I felt like I was capable, but I didn't have that background, anyone in my family to talk to me about it or to tell me those things. So when she told me, you're going to college, you can do it, and she helped me with the applications, and she reached out with the references and things, that was in my head. I was like, I'm going to do it. I didn't need a whole army. I just needed one person. And so I would give credit to my educators every time.
So we all have different personality types. And so in your field, your area that you chose to be in, do you feel that who you are, that it aligns with it? For instance, you can say you go to a restaurant or something and you come across someone that they're not pleasant. And you find out later that they're just not a people person. So you're wondering, why did they choose that field? What. Mm-hmm. So do you feel that what you have chosen align with what your personality, or is it something that you molded to fit?
To be honest, for cooking, molded to fit, even though it was a passion of mine. But for music business, I can honestly say that it fits with me, resonates very well with me, because I am very much a people person, even though I like to have my moments of being secluded away. But it's just a reset on, just being able to get out. But when I get out and about and actually interacting with the people in the music industry, food industry, or anything business-wise, I feel at home because I don't have to fake anything when I put myself out there, and then some individuals ask me, what do I do? I have no problem with going through the long list of things that I'm capable of, but then, also knowing that may have to retract sometimes because I don't want to bore people on top of that, though. But it does resonate well with my life choices, and I'm currently working inside of a studio to go along with my degree also, and actually interacting. So it works beautifully.
It's interesting when you talked about you was like most of the fields that you get recognition for is the medical field. So originally in my journey, I didn't have much support as far as going to college and things. Well, not any congratulations, yay, none of that. Like I did have my brother who dropped me off at school, and he was proud. But when he found out that I chose to be a social worker, he was like, "Why didn't you? Anybody can do that. Why didn't you, choose to be a doctor?" And I was just like, I never considered it. That's not where my heart went. And it was about the money. Like, you're not going to make any money and things like that. But I always tell people that social work chose me. And now since I've been in the field for a while, I can say that it has chosen me. I have the compassion for it. I'm a great listener. It takes skills, and anybody can't do it because it's kind of self-sacrificing. You have to be able to have compassion and empathy for others. You have to be a change agent. You have to follow through. You have to be an advocate. And, some people can't speak for themselves. So I feel like my field did choose me, and it's something that was fit for me.
That's good, because you'll be surprised so many people that are in a field that that didn't choose them and they're not happy. And I will say at one point I was one of those persons, and I would sit in my car 10 minutes before I would go in and I would pray, oh, I don't want to do this. Is there something else? There must be something else that, I enjoy doing, because I lost a sense of what I really wanted to do because I was too busy doing what other people wanted me to do. And I actually was going into psychology. Was my original field that I was going into college, was psychology. And my counselor actually told me that Black ladies do not go into that field. Keep in mind, this was decades ago. So that was one of the reasons why I was lost when I went off to college, because I had my mind on psychology because I love people and I love to just watch and understand them. So when I went to college and I was thinking, okay, well, what am I going to do? So I didn't know what I was going to do. And I don't usually listen to people, but for some reason, that one time that I should not have, I did listen. And so I was lost for some years before I, found myself and made the decision to do what I wanted to do, what I love, what I enjoy, and not based on what was, popular in society. So I'm going to switch. Oh, did you have
I did want to add, it's interesting you say that because just because you do go through those slumps, I don't want you to think that I have always loved social work and be like, oh, I love this person. No, I still have those moments. I sit in my car. Like I said, it's self-sacrificing. You're working with people, and it can be very unpleasant, and that's where that passion has to come from.
Right.
That's where that love has to come from, because. And I'm much mature now, and as professionally, because I used to be that's that job. Like I have quit quite a few, honestly. It's politics, and it's a women saturated field. Mm-hmm. So the stigma on that. It's a lot. It's a lot, and it's political as well as any other field. So I've had my moments where I was just like, I don't know if this is really for me. Maybe I should have chased the dollar. Because sometimes the dollar do make everything kind of better, because at least I'm getting paid a lot of money.
Right.
But I have worked jobs in my field. They do pay money in social work, by the way. I'll put that out because that's such a stereotype. But
right.
They do pay money. But I have worked jobs that pay the money, but you don't get the time. So that's normal to have those slumps.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm gonna touch on a topic that's touchy with universities and schools. So I was talking to a young lady, and she was in her mid-40s, and we were discussing about teachers and students in a relationship. And so I was expressing to her that it goes on in high school, college, and she wasn't aware that that actually took place. And it's actually a high percentage where you have the instructor and a student in a relationship. And so my thing is, it's a high, I don't remember the percentage, but what's alarming to me is she was not aware. And so I'm concerned about other younger women and men going into college. It happens on on both sides.
I got my stories.
And it's alarming that I'm concerned with, are they aware? Because it's difficult to protect yourself in certain situations if you're not really aware. And so we do have some professors that they prey on the not knowing. And they're able to identify easily those that are vulnerable, those that are looking for acceptance, those that are needing someone to accept them and approve of them and what they're doing, give them attention. Are you aware that this does go on in universities and schools?
Yes.
Would you?
Very much so. I'm going to speak from an outer experience. One thing I can say that our generation that we have now is technology, social media, and a lot of times we've seen a lot of that actually come up through social media. But then again, you can't really prep up high school students or middle school students to actually see things like that going on because the privacy and everything like that.
Right.
But it is.
So it still goes on.
Still goes on.
There's a saying, nothing new under the sun. I know it took place many years ago. I actually have a close friend that had a relationship with her instructor, and she fell in love with him and actually thought she was the only one. He ultimately went to another student, and once he was finished, and she never recovered from that. She never, so it's a sore. When I talk about it, it stirs up, a little anger because I felt she was taken advantage of. And she still to this day self-medicate with drugs. And so I think about it and I question sometimes, what could I have done? And so now what I'm doing is voicing that it's out there, hoping young ladies, young men coming in are aware of the situation so they can have boundaries to protect themselves. And is this news to you, or are you aware that it goes on? Or
Well, Shelley, that's amazing that you're bringing awareness to that. And yes, I am aware that I had peers who dated teachers, and so I have seen it firsthand. I will say that, and it happens in middle, high, even elementary. You never know when someone is sexualizing a child, or it's called exploitation. So I would add that a young lady, this is the protection factor. Because when I was in 7th grade, I had a crush on my 7th grade teacher. He was a man. It's very rare that you would have male educators. And I thought he was beautiful, but he didn't give me the time of the day, which as he shouldn't, because it doesn't matter how developed I look. It doesn't matter, how smart I am. It doesn't matter how I flirt with him. There should be boundaries because he's an adult. So it's always going to fall back on you being an adult. That's the bottom line. If you're an adult and you prey on a young person, it doesn't matter if they come on to you. That's where you place the boundary. And even if it's a temptation factor, the boundary is that that person is off limits. And as I wouldn't say a child, you could be an adolescent, you could be a young adult. And like I said, it can be financial exploitation, especially if you're a struggling college student and you have this person who you think has this money, this power, they can help you. The fact of the matter is it's still exploitation. And at the end of the day, they are the ones with the power. So they have the power to cut you off. The same way they put you on, they can cut you off, So your protection factor is understanding that they have the power and you're powerless over them. As far as anything that you can get from them, it will never be worth it. That's what I would add.
Absolutely.
I'll add something on top of that.
Okay.
When it comes to seeing, how my father is an educator, and so with him going through education and actually going to the different high schools and middle schools that he was part of, you pick up on different things that goes on in school. And one thing I can say is that it's something that I really wish would be talked about more, because as you were saying, exploitation is that a lot of children, young adults, and even college students really go through life not getting the care and love that they would be, that you would think would be received in a home, but when they get a little dash of it from a teacher or even a faculty student or faculty in general, it's like you feed a dog a treat. I'm saying anyone's like a dog or pet treat, but it's just that exploitation, just saying that, hey, I got a little bit something that you want.
I have a car, on the college campus. I have a car. It's not just teachers, like you say, it's personnel. I have a car. I can take you here. It's different ways that it's presented. But at the end of the day, it's still exploitation. And if somebody is waving something over your head that you don't have in exchange for your body or even attention, because if they're older and you're younger and they don't have somebody their age, that's a red flag, because why can't you get this attention from somebody in your bracket? There's a problem there. So it's good to know that you're bringing awareness to the red flag.
Exactly. When I was in college, I actually, at one point I stayed on college and then I moved off campus. And I stayed with the elderly lady, and my instructor, I know this sounds bad, but back in the day, I had no fear. I would hitchhike back and forth to school. I know better now. Hitchhiking is not wise, but I would hitchhike back and forth to school. And so there was a professor that actually saw, hey, she needs a ride. And so, there's conversation that started and questions asked, and, one thing led to the other. And then finally, I was getting a ride to and from the school. So one day, the lady that I was living with, and she recognized that he was a professor, and she said, why are you riding in the car with, and she called me out on it. I said, hey, he came to me and said he'll, give me a ride. And she put an end, she said, stop. She said, do not take any more rides with him. And at the time, I didn't see it. I didn't understand why, because I'm thinking, he's being kind to me. Why, so I'm thinking that, but she saw beyond what I didn't know. And so she, put an end to that. And fortunately, who knows what could have happened, because I grew up needing attention, acceptance, so anybody that was giving me attention, I would gravitate to them until I learned to accept who I was and love who I was. Then that's when I stopped, looking for others to accept me and give me attention. I give it to myself when I need it. So another subject, which is a little bit in line with what we're talking about. So I read a research where it says 26.4 students, male and female, are raped on college. And while they're in college, and the percentage of that goes up, likelihood, if they were raped in high school. So if they were in high school, the percentage is higher that it may happen again in college. What did you do to protect yourself? How did you, I shouldn't say what did you do, but when you see those red flags coming up, you're shaking your head already. How are you able, how do I form this?
Like, how do you address it?
Right. Are you aware that the number is so high? And these are only percentages that are recorded. Exactly. So it's even higher. So do you believe that the university that you attend protects you for situations like that? Do they have like a standard awareness, an orientation 101, safety tips that you should have? For instance, when you're dating, you're going out on a date, maybe have a buddy system or something to let someone know where you're going, who you're with, if you're out late at night, do they have that established? Are you aware? Are you aware if they do or not?
I'm a graduate, right? And so I can honestly say at the time, I know I did take college orientation. We had several seminars on campus and things like that to talk about these things. But I can honestly say I did not. I'm not a survivor or victim of this, but I did not. Can honestly say during that time I was not protecting myself or watching for the red flags. I was drinking and stuff. Many things could have happened, during that time. So I definitely think that I'm glad you bring awareness to this because it's very important that you take those precautions because I was just happy to be there. And I was just having a time. And when I think about it often, honestly, like, you just don't think about those things. And I'm just like, wow, I really was like that and anything could have happened. Maybe.
It couldn't. And the thing is, we're so excited to be away from home, making our own decisions, not being told what to do, that again, we don't know what we should be aware of because we're in new territory. We haven't gone to college before. And, so I think it's important to have, safety precaution or something, talk to the students,
Well, I'm going to go ahead and answer my side of things when it comes to that. Full Sail University, my first month at Full Sail, they had us go to a class where it was actually like we had to go through a small course, which was just basically telling us that if you see something, say something. If you have the ability to stop something, go up, stop things. Because I take that very seriously because I am a victim and a survivor. So thankful that I'm here and I have been able to work through those things. But I take that very seriously because it's too many times even before it happened to me, I would see, hear about my female friends, but when some of the women that I would be surrounded with actually being taken advantage of by people that I wouldn't know, and it's just be so shocking. And it's like, how could you, like, what can I do, like, and try to think of how I could have prevented it, but then taking action and knowing that sometimes can't be there at all points of times, and I know that safety feature, not being able to be there all the time really showed me about just being able to try to give a heads up. It's like, hey, don't go out by yourself. If you have to put your location on, send it to your friends, do something like that, because that's just it's heartbreaking. Because knowing that somebody has that thank you, that motive for someone that would have never given them the time of day, and they know that.
Right.
And it's,
and the thing is, it's not just happening with strangers. You know, it happens with people we trust. And as an adult, you think, you know, hey, I don't have to, you know, tell my whereabouts. I don't have to, you know, explain what I'm doing or let someone know.
Are you okay?
You good?
oh yeah, I'm good. We here.
I'm so glad that she's bringing awareness to this.
Right.
Because I did have a friend who experienced it, and we did the buddy system and all that. Like you said, it's, you know, it's always someone close. So I would say the protective factor is just trust no one. You know, when you're drinking, watch your drinks. Don't let anyone fix you. Don't let anyone fix you a drink. You know, don't go alone with the guy who's your friend. You know, stay with the people who you came with at all times. You know, like watch your surroundings when you're out on a college campus. You know,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Your gut. He said your gut tells you everything. That's so real.
Follow your gut is there. Too often we ignore it. And when we ignore it, I don't know how many times I've said, oh man, I should have listened to my intuition. You know, it'll tell you something. And sometimes we choose to ignore it. And safety is just important. I know I went out with a couple of friends, and this was way past my 20s, and we were out of town at a convention, and professional convention, and I was getting ready to go out and have dinner with a friend that I met at the convention. And so I'm thinking, we're all professionals, you know, we're good to go. And my friends, bless them, I'm thankful, they were like, wait a minute. When he came to pick me up, they were like, what's your name? Where you're from? And then toward the end, they're like, we need to take a picture of your license. And so I was thinking, wow, you know, I was thinking they were a little too much, but hindsight, I'm glad they did that, because again, you know, things that you're not really thinking about, and you're excited, I'm getting ready to go out with a guy, and you're focusing on one thing and not looking at the big picture and your safety. And it was interesting. He was a good person, and his partner was saying the same thing to him, like, wait a minute, are you sure? She looks kind of young. You don't get in trouble going out, you know, with someone young. So it felt good to learn that we had people on both ends that was looking out for us, which is not always the case. It's not always the case.
So you have to be aware, you know, of your surroundings at all times. You go to a party, you go anywhere, because you know we have little kickbacks and gatherings a lot in college. You know, of your exes, you be aware of your surroundings. The guy who you with, how he look, you need to know what people have on. Like, all of those things are very important things you don't think about. This is my friend, we're just having a good time. Pay attention to how many times he asks you, do you want a drink? You know, you say no, he come back, do you want another one? You know, things like that. Even if you're sober, you know, too close to you and, you know, too affectionate, and you're not really wanting to be like that, these things are red flags.
Exactly, and don't ignore it. I actually had to pick up 3 college students that were together, looking out for each other. And like you said, the drinks, keep bringing the drinks. So someone was able to get to them with the drinks, and they were not able, I had to come get them because they were not able to walk out on their own from their drink being spiked. And so even when you're together, things like what you said, you have to be aware and just be more cautious about it instead of just in the moment and having fun in the moment there.
Don't go home with someone you don't know. Please don't, because they can live their
Say
house.
it again.
Don't go home with someone you don't know, male or female, man or woman, because you don't know what they have at their house waiting at all.
Or what's going on in their mind.
Exactly, what they're expecting to have you come back and do or whatnot. Like, yeah. Just don't, please.
Shelby, can I add an important aspect I would like to mention is this is called date rape. People don't talk about that, but that is another thing that happens. And date rape is basically, it's rape from someone you're dating, but it may not feel like that because I'm dating him. If he wants sex or I'm dating her, if she wants sex, then what's wrong with it? Because we're together. You still have consent when you're dating. Even when you're married, you still, date rape is also something that happens, and it happens a lot in college campuses as well.
No means no. That's no means no.
Absolutely.
Nobody's property.
And
Absolutely.
Also, another red flag: if a guy constantly asks you out continuously after you told him no, try to get away from that as much as possible. I'm speaking. Have y'all ever had the experience? Just someone just keep edging you on?
Oh, absolutely. I typically, if they continue to approach me and continue over and over, when I say, let me think about it, or I'll get back with you, and if they continue to be aggressive, I cut it off immediately. I do, want attention. You see someone you're attracted to, then you do want them to respond, but my personality, I don't like someone that is like, come on, we need to do this now. Let's go. And so the more they come at me, the more I remove myself from the situation. And too often that aggressiveness get confused with some young ladies thinking, oh, he really wants me, and they will pursue it. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some cases where, people are just aggressive. That's just their personality. But you have to be aware and mindful of the situation. You have to step back, analyze it. What is why is he, horning in so, much, and just analyze it and make a decision. Usually those red flags mean something. So let's talk about last topic, mainly circle of friends. So circle of friends can be what I consider a benefit in a relationship, because you can learn from others that you're around. You don't want to be what I would say the smartest in your group all the time, because you want to always learn from someone. But at the same token, you need to be mindful of who's in your circle, because you're laying the foundation of habits that you will likely take into your career field. So, like it or not, those that are closest in your circle, you start picking up from them. The saying they may have, how they say a word, or expressions they use, you find yourself saying it, and you even start talking like them. Like my family, they say, the sisters, they can't tell if we're on the phone, they don't know who they're talking to, because we all sound alike, because we picked up how, each other sound, and we assimilate to that. So it's important to know who your circle of friends are, because if you have what I call a people-pleasing personality, and you're with a friend who loves to party and then cram for studies at the last minute, then oftentimes they want you to party with them and do the same thing. And if you're a person that like to please people all the time, then you kind of go with the flow. So if you're creating a habit if you're diligent now in college, you're likely to be diligent in your career. If you procrastinate and put off, you're likely to do that in your career. So how are you able in college?
I want you to go first.
How was you able in college? How are you able to keep that balance, stay on track with your studies, be your own leader and not a follower,
but still have that balance and still have that fun in college?
So my friend group is very vast, and my favorite thing is that everyone that I do surround myself with encourages me more to continue down the work to continue in college. So if I say, hey, I have homework I got to do today, every single person, my friends, like, all right, call me back after you get done, or I'll talk to you tomorrow or something like that. And that honestly gives me a really big sigh of relief, because that if some I have people that understand, that know that I'm trying to pursue something more and something better into my life, and they're a part of that, but they also know that I have my boundaries when it comes to that. So balancing it, my friends, and I like to say family members, make that super easy, because again, they understand my time with the business that I run, and then also with class, and then trying to keep things with my family. They know I'm still always a phone call away, but with homework or if I'm out on the job, don't contact me. And it's having those people that have respect on that just makes things amazing.
So, yeah, I'm glad you brought this topic, because my experience was much different. I told you I went away from home, so I met my friend. I went to a private small HBCU, and as much as I'm in sorority and everything, but that came later. I met my friend on the first day, and I wasn't very intentional about my friends, because like you said, you have a vast friend group. I like all type of personalities. I wasn't intentional to be like, oh, I want my friend like this. I never had it in my mind. But I met a girl who was so different from me. She was really my only friend who I would say was my friend. Now, I knew people, I was social. I have people who were my associates, my colleagues. But my friend was just this one girl, totally different. She was very into God and the Bible. She didn't curse. And she met this girl from Atlanta who out cursed, honey. But I was smart. Like I was like more kind of smarter than her, but she was just more tactful than me. I'm talking about she's the 15 minutes early, or you're because on time is late type of girl. And I was like, oh my God, let me hurry up on my pants. I gotta go to class. But I was making the grades, and she wasn't making the grades, but she was like, and I admired her so much for that. And she admired me for my charisma and my social life. But I admired her for her dedication to God and her tactfulness. And, we kind of clashed with that, and she got me in the choir, and I kind of think that I accomplished some dreams that she wished that she could. And I tried to keep her close, but we ran into some issues with that, because we clashed somehow. And she became more of a party girl, which was interesting because she was kind of a loner. And when I met her, but she was louder than me. I'm soft-spoken, but I was still more social. But she was like louder, and she wanted to be me socially. Like she always talked about it, and she didn't see her strengths through me. We went through that, but she became like a party girl, kind of, my social aspects, because she wanted that, so she was trying to do what I do, but she didn't have the background. She was sheltered, in her life, pre-college. She was more sheltered, so and I was way more experienced than her. I tried to tell her that, I was like, it's different from me. I can manage. I know, I'm me, you have so many strengths. Like, don't be me, and it did tear us apart, and she never really made friends, and we kind of let each other breathe, because we kept going through things, passion, but we loved each other so much, but we were kind of growing apart. And so I feel like when you're in college, you be more intentional. Things matter like that, iron sharpens iron. If we would have applied our strengths, and say, hey, hey, Daphne, I get up early, because she would leave me sometimes. And I'd be like, you left me, but she didn't play that. I'm telling you, she was like, girl, I got to be on time. But it made her mad when we brought the grades up. And I was like, girl, how you do that? You didn't. I was like, girl, I was late that day, but I went to the teacher after class and told her, can I make this, but she wasn't vocal, So I feel like you should be more intentional about your friends, and have these conversations because they do matter. Because at the end of the day, if you want to finish together, if you really care about your friends, you want to bring these conversations up because you're going to learn in college that sometimes the people that you meet your freshman year, at your senior year, they will be gone, like they didn't make it. So that's a huge reality of college, and I had that in me. I was like, I learned that, and I had like abandonment issues. So it's also important to know we had different majors, so it's kind of like a different lifestyle and different requirements. So I would, like I said, I would say just be more intentional and think of that. I know that acceptance is a big thing in college too, because people come to college, I tell you, and they get a new identity, and there's really nothing wrong with that. But just make sure the identity that you're going for is always a better you, and understand that you're an individual and you come to college for a purpose. So what you see somebody else doing, you have to have that individual mindset. You can't be the next person. You can't make up for your years in high school when you go to college. You're in college for a purpose for the rest of your life. So your friends are very important because to this day, I've obtained my master's. My college friends are my family. They are what keeps me going, even in my career with my family. I see them growing. I'm growing too because that's my network. So that's what you have to keep in mind. You want to be around people who are on a mission to grow. And if you can be an inspiration to somebody, and if you can help somebody, because you go through hard times in college as well, you're going to be tested in college. It's not a time that's going to be just a smooth sailing. It's all about the books. It's the personal development too. So you need spiritual friends. That's why I brought in that my friend, she was very much into God. And she helped me. I used to always tell her, like, you helped me, and I grew spiritually. So you keep that in mind when you're making your friends. And sometimes you have to let go. Like, if you see them, you can't help them, you help yourself.
So, I think we can start wrapping things up here. And is there something you want to share? Something that maybe you learned while you're in college that you didn't know before, or something you want to share to other students that are in college, that a tip or something that you would like to share?
If you have a mentor willing to teach you, I would say, of course, get your grounds right, but a mentor really helps me right now in college. And I didn't expect that to really be because I did have an issue with authority. But being able to learn from different mentors along my college journey, I can honestly say that it's prepped me for the now, for my business that I want to create, and actually got me into the right areas and met the right people that I wanted to be surrounded with. That's not just my friends, but like when it comes to the business aspects, all my mentors has done nothing but provide me with a nice road. But of course, every path is different, so I take at least what they mostly give, and then go about my day. But I would also say mentor, and then you brought up friends. Not everyone is your friend. Not everyone is your friend at all, and then being able to actually sense that, or to be aware, is a hard thing, because again, acceptance is a thing, but like, you can do more. You can just be aware. That's really
Anything else you want to share?
I would like to add, get those teachers, your professors, your teachers, get their numbers, get their emails, and keep them, because you're going to need those for references. Like I said, it was rocky in my early career, and I quit a couple jobs, but I was using those same professors and stuff for my references, and so those references go a long way. And also, that's what I want to say. That's it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Your mental health matters. Mm-hmm. If you need to take a break, don't be afraid to do it. Because the world is stressful enough. And sometimes, even as an adult now, it's hard to sit there and say, hold on, I need to make sure I can actually do the job I'm being required to do. And college takes a lot. So just, if you need to take a mental health day or something just communicate that, because mental health matters a lot when it comes to that. So
Also, plan ahead, plan your future ahead. Don't wait until your senior year to figure out what you want to do with your life. Actually, during your whole matriculation in college, be thinking about what you really want to do, and reach out to those universities, reach out to, like he said, mentors, reach out to your professors, and really secure your future and what you want to do. That's very important.
And I want to add what was helpful for me the brief time I was in college before I dropped out. What actually helped me was I had you mentioned mentor. I call her my safe person. And I could go to her about anything that was going on campus, off campus. And we formed a relationship that I called her my campus mom. And she was someone that told me what I needed to hear, not what I wanted to hear. And she gave me guidance. We stayed friends even after college days, and, we became friends. Matter of fact, I still went to her. She passed away a couple of years ago, which I'm still dealing with, because she was my go-to person about everything. She was very trustworthy, someone you can tell anything that's going on. Sometimes, often in school, we turn to our peers and we don't realize they're learning just like you're learning. So they're pulling information and telling you what to do or advising, and they don't really know themselves. So I think it is important to have a safe person, a mentor, someone that is not necessarily your peer in school, that will give you that advice that you need, that you can go to no matter what the situation, to give guidance. They will give you guidance in what you need on. And so I think that's it. So I thank you both. I thank you both for attending here and having this conversation. I believe it's important for people to see that things still go on here in college in your generation, just like it was going on back in my generation decades ago. And so I firmly believe that we can start making a change when we start letting people be aware of what's going on and sharing our experiences and what worked for us. And yes.
Enjoy college. I forgot to add that. Enjoy college. Enjoy it. Don't be sleeping all the time. See, I'm an introvert. I'm just here to sleep and get my grades, but you're going to miss it. Enjoy college. Get in some clubs and stuff. Do some stuff on campus. Invent something on campus that nobody even ever had on campus. Just invent it. And, be a change agent. Anything you don't like to see, advocate for yourself. Create. Make your campus better than it was when you came.
And if you see something, say something. No means no.
Thank you for joining us. My name is Shelley, and remember, everything you need, you have within.